What if the angriest force in the Marvel Universe tore through space itself and opened his eyes inside the cold, disciplined world of Starfleet, where rage is forbidden, control is sacred, and one uncontrollable being could doom the final frontier before anyone understands what he is? On the bridge of the USS Enterprise-D, sensors spike into madness. Dotter's fingers freeze above his console. Picard feels it before anyone speaks. A pressure behind the eyes, a wrongness. As if the laws he's trusted his entire life have suddenly been rewritten. A tear blossoms in empty space. Green light, gamma radiation so intense it scorches the shields without touching them. And then something falls out of the rupture. Not a ship, not debris, a body, unmoving, massive chest, green skin. For half a second, the bridge is frozen between curiosity and fear. Then the figure's eyes snap open. Down on the surface of an uncharted M-class planet, Bruce Banner wakes up screaming. He doesn't know where he is. He only knows the air tastes wrong, metallic and thin, and the sky above him is an impossible shade of violet, split by unfamiliar stars. His heart is racing. His hands are shaking. And worst of all, he remembers the last thing before the jump. The energy spike. The surge of gamma radiation, colliding with something ancient, something cosmic. Banner scrambles to his feet, panic clawing at his chest. Okay, stay calm, he whispers. Though calm has never been something he's been good at holding on to for long. His scanner is gone. His lab is gone. Earth is gone. Earth is gone. Captain, Data says, voice precise, but edged with something unfamiliar. The humanoid is exhibiting extreme cellular instability. His physiology appears to be fluctuating. Picard's jaw tightens. Transport him directly to sickbay. Maximum containment. The beam intensifies. The other guy stirs. By the time Banner rematerializes in sickbay, Dr. Beverly Crusher is already backing away. The biob groans under his weight. Readings explode across monitors. Gamma levels rise, climbing past anything Starfleet has ever catalogued. Bruce Banner, he gasps, clutching his head. I'm not supposed to be here. Crusher tries to speak, but the lights flicker. A tremor runs through the deck. Banner looks at his hands. They're getting bigger. Bones crack. Muscles swell. The roar that tears from his chest is raw, furious, confused, a sound of pain more than anger. Consoles shatter. Bulkheads dent inward. Red alerts scream throughout the ship. On the bridge, Picard grips his chair as the deck shudders beneath him. What have we brought aboard? Riker asks, staring at the cascading damage reports. And somewhere deep in space, something ancient has felt that roar echo across the stars. What happens when a creature born of endless rage is caged by a civilization that believes absolute control is the highest virtue and neither side is willing to bend? The Enterprise shakes like a wounded animal. Bulkheads scream under the Hulk's fists as if the ship itself is begging him to stop. All Hulk knows is that he woke up in a cage, surrounded by strangers who looked at him like a weapon they'd already decided to fear. Hulk. Once, his roar reverberates through the decks, rattling teeth, bending direction. A security team pours into sickbay, phasers raised, hands trembling despite years of training. Worf steps forward, jaw clenched, eyes burning with something dangerously close to respect. Stand down. Picard's voice cuts through the chaos over the com. No one fire unless absolutely necessary. It smashes against the far wall, sparks raining like burning stars. Jean-Luc, she whispers into her com. This isn't a patient anymore. This is something else. In the midst of the destruction, something shifts. The Hulk pauses. For just a fraction of a second, his massive brow furrows. Voices echo in his head, Banner's voice pleading warning, begging him not to hurt anyone who doesn't deserve it. The ship smells strange, sterile, not like a battlefield. These people, they aren't attacking him. Not yet. Leave Hulk alone, he growls, backing toward a shattered bulkhead. Hulk no want fight. On the bridge, Data's fingers dance across his console. Captain, if I may, the entity's aggression appears reactive, not predatory. He responds violently when he perceives confinement or threat. Picard studies the view screen, eyes hard but thoughtful. She presses her fingers to her temple, face tightening. Captain. The emotions coming from him are overwhelming. Fear, anger, pain layered on top of each other. He's not just angry, he's terrified. Before Picard can respond, the deck lurches violently. The Hulk has reached a corridor intersection and stopped. He stares out at viewport. Stars. Endless. Cold. Infinite. For the first time since the transformation, the Hulk feels small. Banner lost, he murmurs, voice dropping, almost childlike. No home. The hesitation doesn't last. Security finally fires. Blue phaser beams slam into Hulk's chest. They don't burn. They don't stun. His skin glows faintly green as the energy dissipates, absorbed, feeding something deep inside him. Hulk warned you. He charges. What follows is not a fight, it's a lesson. The Hulk tears through corridors, smashing force fields, leaping decks at a time, roaring in fury as the ship's systems fail one by one. Gravity flickers, lights die. Containment has failed, Riker says grimly. He's heading toward engineering. Captain, if he reaches the warp core, I know. Picard snaps, then steadies himself. All hands, fall back. Do not engage, unless necessary. And then, quietly, to himself, we must talk to him. Familiar, but twisted, like energy screaming to be released. Banner's voice rises again, clearer now. That thing. It's dangerous. Too loud, he growls. Make it stop. Picard enters the chamber alone. No weapon, no guards. Just a man standing before a god of rage. Hulk, Picard says calmly, his voice carrying over the roar of the core. My name is Jean-Luc Picard. You are aboard my ship. The Hulk turns slowly, eyes blazing, nostrils flaring. He takes one step forward, then another, each footfall shaking the deck. Little man, he rumbles. Everyone says that. Before they try to control Hulk, then perhaps, he replies, it is time someone tried something different. Outside the ship, far beyond sensor range, something stirs within the darkness between stars and intelligence, drawn by gamma radiation unlike anything this universe has ever known, and it is coming. What if the only thing standing between the Hulk and total destruction is a single man's refusal to see him as a monstrant, an enemy who sees him as the ultimate weapon? The silence between Picard and the Hulk stretches, fragile as glass. The warp core hums behind them, a caged star waiting to be unleashed. The Hulk's fists clench, muscles coiling, every instinct screaming to smash the small, calm figure daring to stand in his way. Talk, always talk, Hulk snarls. Talk, then trap Hulk. Picard slowly removes his communicator and sets it on the deck. The click echoes louder than any alarm. I'll give you my word, he says evenly. No traps, no weapons, only understanding. The Hulk tilts his head, confused by the gesture. No one ever did that before. Soldiers ran, scientists hid, generals shouted orders. But this man stood still. Banner's voice whispers again, softer now. He's different. Listen. The Hulk growls, fighting the noise in his head. If little man lies, Hulk breaks ship. That is, you're right, Picard replies without hesitation. But if I speak truth, he will listen. The Hulk exhales hard, a storm barely contained. Finally, he drops onto one knee, the deck buckling under his weight. Talk, Picard does. He speaks of exploration, of a future built not on conquest, but cooperation, of a federation that learned through blood and ruined that power without restraint, destroys everything it touches. He does not lecture, he does not command. He tells stories, of Borg invasions, of wars barely survived, of moments where rage nearly consumed them all. As Picard speaks, something remarkable happens. The Hulk listens, not because he agrees, but because for the first time, someone is speaking to him, not about him. In the shadows of engineering, unseen by either of them, space itself shimmers, a figure phases into existence, tall and angular, eyes like burning coals. Q well, Q sighs, clapping slowly. This is delightful, truly. I'll leave for a few centuries and come back to find you've invited a walking cosmic tantrum onto my favorite starship. Picard stiffens. Q. The Hulk whirls, snarling. New little man smells wrong. Q grins. Oh, I like him already. With a snap of his fingers, time freezes phaser beams, suspended in midair elsewhere on the ship. Crew members locked like statues. Only Picard, Hulk, and Q can move. Q circles the Hulk, inspecting him like a toy. Gamma mutation, limitless strength scaling with emotional distress. Fascinating, you know. Jean-Luc, beings like this are exactly why the universe wipes itself clean every so often. Leave him alone, Picard snaps. Q raises a brow. Protective already. Careful. It didn't work out so well with the Borg, remember? The Hulk steps forward, teeth bared. Hulk smash, bad man. Q chuckles. Oh, I believe you could, eventually. But I'm not here to fight. I'm here to observe. His smile fades slightly, because something else has noticed him too. Q gestures, and space tears open like a wound. Through it, visions pour out, vast fleets of jagged black ships, organic and mechanical at once, a species older than the Federation, older than the Klingon Empire. Drawn by gamma radiation is a beacon. The Devourers, Q says quietly. They consume energy, worlds, civilizations. And your green friend here is a banquet. Face hardens. Didn't held as Q shakes his head. Oh no, this is a test. For you, for him. He looks at the Hulk, eyes suddenly serious. Because if he loses control, they win. And if he learns restraint, well, that would be new. Time snaps back into motion. Q vanishes. Alarms scream again. On the view screen, a massive fleet drops, out of warp, blotting out the stars. The Hulk looks at Picard. Bad things coming. Picard meets his gaze. Yes, and for the first time, I believe you may be the only one who can stop them. The Hulk bares his teeth in something not quite a smile. Hulk hates bullies. Outside the Enterprise, the Devourers power their weapons. Inside the Hulk, something changes, not rage, not combat purpose. What if the Hulk's rage curse became the Federation's last, desperate hope? And using it might cost him the very thing he's just begun to understand. The stars go dark. One by one, the Devourer ships unfold like living nightmares, their hulls rippling as if breathing. Tendrils of energy lash out, draining power from nearby stars, making them dim and sickly. On the bridge of the Enterprise, silence falls not from fear, but from awe at the scale of what they're facing. Captain, Data says, voice tight with uncharacteristic urgency, the enemy vessels are not merely armed, they are feeding. If they reach Federation space, they won't, Picard replies, though he knows how fragile that promise is. In engineering, the Hulk stands before the warp core again, but this time he isn't angry at it. He feels its power echoing inside him, a distant cousin to the gamut storm that made him what he is. Banner's thoughts surface, clearer than ever. That energy, it's tearing space-time apart. They're attracted to it. Too. Picard steps closer. They want you, he says quietly. And I will not order you to sacrifice yourself. The Hulk looks down at him. Massive face, unreadable. Hulk, not hero, he mutters. Hulk just ends fights. Picard nods. Sometimes that is enough. A shockwave slams into the ship. The Devourers fire. Shields scream as they drop to 60% in seconds. Across subspace, Klingon warbirds decloak, answering the Federation's distress call. Romulan vessels follow, uneasy allies bound by shared extinction. Worf bares his teeth. A glorious battle. The Hulk hears the word battle, and something old stirs. His muscles tense, his heartbeat accelerates. But beneath the rising heat, there is focus. Hulk goes outside. He says, "GEORDI," blinks outside. Before anyone can argue, the Hulk leaps literally into a reinforced launch bay as force fields snap into place around him. Space yarns open. The stars are endless, terrifying. Picard's voice crackles over the com. You don't have to do this. Hulk wants to, comes the reply. For once, the force field drops. The Hulk launches himself into space. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then he collides with the nearest Devourer ship like a living meteor. The impact ripples through the alien vessel screams axily screams as Hulk punches into its hull, ripping through layers of living metal, tearing out its glowing core. Energy explodes around him, feeding his strength, amplifying his rage. Hulk smash. Federation. Sensors go wild. Power readings spike beyond comprehension. Hulk leaps from ship to ship, using debris as stepping stones, tearing apart vessels that once devoured civilizations. Klingon warriors roar in triumph. Even the Borg, watching from distant space, pause to calculate. But rage is a fire, and fire spreads. Each explosion feeds the Hulk more energy than he has ever absorbed. His skin glows brighter. His roars grow less coherent. Banner's voice starts to fade, drowned out by the intoxicating pull of endless power. On the bridge, Troy clutches her head. "Captain, he's losing himself." Picard grips the rail. "Hulk," he calls over the com. "Listen to me. You are winning, but you must stop." The Hulk barely hears him. He sees only enemies. Endless enemies. A universe that finally understands him and fears him. Hugh watches from nowhere, expression unreadable. "Ah," he murmurs. "There it is. The tipping point." The Devourer flagship charges its core, aiming not at the Enterprise but at the Hulk, a weapon designed to collapse stars. Banner's voice screams one last time. "If you take that hit, there may be no coming back." The Hulk roars, drawing all the energy around him, preparing to strike first. One blow could end the war. One blow could erase Bruce Banner forever. What if stopping the Devourers means the Hulk must choose between limitless power and the fragile human voice he's fought his entire life to protect? Space bends. That is the only way to describe it. As the Devourer flagship unleashes its weapon, reality itself curves inward, light stretching. Like molten glass, the blast is not heat or force, it is erasure, a gravity well designed to unmake whatever it touches. The Hulk sees it coming. For the first time in his existence, he understands what it is meant to do. "Big gun," he growls, bracing himself, mid-vacuum muscles knotting as energy floods him from every destroyed ship behind him. Gamma radiation surges, screaming through his cells. He feels infinite, unstoppable. "Too much," Banner warns faintly, his voice flickering like a dying signal. "If you absorb this, there won't be anything left of me." The Hulk hesitates. The Devourers do not. The blast hits him. Head dash on. From the bridge of the Enterprise, every sense of Hulk's energy signature spikes, then fractures into impossible readings. For a terrifying moment, it looks like he's being torn apart at the molecular level. Picard whispers, "No." But the Hulk doesn't die. He absorbs. The weapon pours into him, feeding the furnace inside his chest. His roar echoes through subspace itself, a sound so powerful it ripples across star systems. Nearby, Devourer ships recoil, as if afraid. The Hulk grows larger, denser. His outline warps, green skin blazing like a newborn star. He feels the universe pressing against demand for the first time. It yields hull, strongest. There is much. With a single, godlike strike, he drives his fist into the flagship's core. The explosion is silent. Then everything goes white. When the light fades, the Devourer fleet is gone, reduced to drifting ash and twisted wreckage. The remaining ships retreat into subspace, fleeing in terror. The battle is over, but victory tastes wrong. The Hulk floats motionless in space. On the Enterprise, sick silence grips the bridge. No readings, no movement, just an expanding field of residual gamma radiation, fading slowly. Troy's eyes filled with tears. "Captain, I can't feel him. Not rage, not fear, nothing." Picard closes his eyes, then a pulse, weak, irregular, hailing frequency open. Dado says sharply, "There is." A response. Static fills the speakers. A distorted, strained voice breaks through. Jean-Luc Picard leans forward, heart pounding. "I'm here, I can't hold him back," Banner whispers. "He's too big now." The Hulk stirs, massive body slowly contracting, energy bleeding off into space like glowing mist. His muscles shrink. His skin fades from blinding green to a darker, quieter shade. "He saved everyone," Crusher breathes. "But at what cost?" Picard asks softly. As the transformation continues, something unprecedented happens. The Hulk doesn't vanish completely, nor does Banner fully return. The body that stabilizes is neither. A towering figure, smaller than the Hulk, larger than a man, green-tinged skin, eyes calm, intelligated but burning with restrained power. A fusion on the view screen. The figure looks toward the Enterprise and speaks not with a roar, but with controlled strength. "I am still here," he says. "Both of us." Q appears, beside Picard, arms crossed. "Well, that's new. You've rewritten a rule of the universe. Congratulations." Picard ignores him, eyes locked on the figure in space. "What do you need?" Being Banner and Hulk as one posits. "I don't know," he admits, "but I know this universe is full of things like the Devourers." His gaze drifts to the stars, and they're going to keep coming. Far away, in the darkness beyond known space. Ancient intelligences awaken, drawn not by rage alone, but by something far more dangerous: control. What if the universe now fears the Hulk, not because he is uncontrollable, but because he finally is? The Enterprise drifts through the wreckage in stunned silence. Starfleet vessels regroup. Klingon warbirds circle cautiously, their weapons lowered, but never fully disengaged. No one cheers. No one speaks. Every sensor is fixed on the figure floating calmly in open space. The being who ended a war by becoming something that should not exist. Picard stands at the view screen, hands clasped behind his back. "Bring him aboard," he says at last, gently. The transporter beam wraps around the fused form, but this time there is no violent distortion, no spike of alarms. The pattern stabilizes, clean, precise. When the light fades in the containment chamber, he stands upright, breathing steadily, eyes sharp and aware. Dr. Crusher approaches slowly. "Do you feel pain?" He considers the question. "Not like before. It's quieter inside my head, like two storms learned how to share the sky." Worf watches him with open awe. "You fight with honor," he says, "and restraint. That is rare." The being no longer just Banner, no longer just Hulk meets Worf's gaze. "If I lose restraint," he replies evenly, "everything dies." Troy feels it then. Not rage, not fear. Balance. A terrifying, beautiful equilibrium. "Captain," she murmurs. He isn't suppressing the Hulk. There, cooperating. Q materializes near the ceiling, slow clapping. "Oh, this is delicious. The Federation just accidentally created a cosmic constant. Do you have any idea how many universal watchdogs that's going to upset?" Picard turns sharply. "You knew this would happen." Q shrugs. "I suspected. Put infinite rage through a culture obsessed with self-control. Either you get annihilation or evolution." Before Picard can respond, alarms sound again, different. This time, subspace distortions. Dozens. Hundreds. Data's voice tightens. "Captain, multiple entities are emerging from beyond our known dimensional spectrum. They are not Devourers." The view screen fills with impossible shapes, beings of energy and thought, ancient and vast. Observers, judges. Her voice speaks not aloud, but everywhere at once. The anomaly has been noted. The fused being steps forward, unafraid. "You mean me? You were not meant to stabilize. Power and control are mutually exclusive." "Not here," he replies calmly. "Not anymore." Picard watches, realizing this is no longer a Starfleet matter. This is a trial of existence itself. Your presence disrupts balance. The being closes his eyes briefly, then opens them. So did warp drive. So did the Federation. Progress always does. A pause. A cosmic hesitation. You will be tested. Space twists again, and suddenly, everything is gone. No stars, no ships, no Q, just the being, standing alone on a cracked version of Earth. Cities in ruins, skies burning green. A future shaped by his worst fears. Banner's voice trembles inside him. "This is what happens if we fail." The Hulk's presence answers, steady and fierce. "Then we don't fail," the judges watch. And somewhere far away, Picard feels a chill he cannot explain, because, for the first time, humanity's future may hinge not on diplomacy but on whether a man who once embodied rage can teach the universe what strength really means. What if the final test is not whether the Hulk can destroy worlds, but whether he can refuse to end every version of the future begs him to give in? The ruined Earth stretches endlessly in every direction. Skyscrapers lie split open like broken ribs. Oceans burn. The sky churns with gamma-green clouds that pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. Every step the fused being takes sends cracks racing through the ground, as if the planet itself remembers what he once was. "This isn't real," he says aloud, though the weight in his chest tells him the consequences are dot. "It is a possibility." The judges reply, their voices echoing from the air itself. One of many dot images tear open the sky. He sees himself losing control, Hulk unbound. Banner drowned, entire fleets crushed in his hands. He sees the Federation shattered, Klingon worlds cracked, Romulus reduced to ash. He sees civilizations kneeling before him out of fear, calling him protector while praying he never looks their way. Banner recoils. "This is what they think we are." The Hulk answers, not with anger, but certainty. "This is what happens when no one believes we can choose." The judges shift. Choice is an illusion at your scale. Power demands outcome. Then you've never been powerless, he replies. The world changes again. Now he is small, human, Bruce Banner, kneeling in a desert lab as soldiers surround him, guns raised. Fear in every face. He remembers this moment, the helplessness, the rage clawing to escape. A judge's voice presses in. Release it in them. This future survives if you do. Banner trembles. The Hulk does not surge forward. Instead, the fused being stands straightening Banner's shoulders, steadying his breath. No, he says quietly. I won't. The soldiers vanish. The illusion cracks. WHY? The judges demand, their tone sharpening. Because power doesn't justify fear, he answers, and control doesn't mean chains, it means responsibility. The sky fractures completely. Back on the Enterprise, every console overloads at once. Energy floods subspace, not violent, measured, focused. Picard grips his chair as space itself seems to hold its breath. Captain Jean, Data says, all threaded. Through his voice, the anomaly is stabilizing the surrounding continuum. Q reappears beside him, unusually silent. For once, there is no joke. Ready to. In the void of the trial, the judges withdraw, their forms dissolving into light. You are accepted, but you cannot remain. The fused being nods. He already knows. I won't endanger this universe by staying where I'm not meant to be. One final vision forms not of destruction, but of paths, gateways between universes, threats lurking beyond realities, edgious, places where rage is currency and monsters rule unchecked. The Hulk smiles faintly inside him. Looks like we found our job. Banner exhales. Yeah, saving worlds that can't save themselves. The Enterprise reappears around him. Transporter light fades. Picard stands waiting, eyes filled with something between pride and sorrow. You'll be leaving us, Picard says. Yes, he replies, but not unguarded. He steps back, energy gathering, not explosive, but deliberate. A controlled singularity opens behind him, stable and precise. Picard extends his hand. You've shown us something today, about strength. The being shakes it carefully. You showed me first. As he turns toward the gateway, Q finally speaks. You know, he says softly, you may have just scared the universe more than any tyrant ever could. But being pauses. Good, he replies. Fear keeps gods honest. He steps through. The portal closes. Silence falls. But deep beyond the final frontier, something new now walks the dark, no longer a weapon. No longer a monster, but a guardian shaped by rage, reason, and choice. And the universe will never forget the day the Hulk learned how to stop. What if the true legacy of the Hulk is not the worlds he saved, but the silence he left behind when the universe realized it could no longer provoke him? The Enterprise moves again. Stars slide past the view screen, familiar and suddenly precious. The battle debris is gone, cleaned away by time and Starfleet. Efficiency. But something heavier lingers in the Iran absence no sensor can quantify. Picard stands alone in his ready room, staring out at the endless dark. He has commanded starships through wars, paradoxes, and gods pretending to be men. Yet this feels different. History didn't just bend. It learned. In the days that follow, reports flood in from across the quadrant. Subspace is stabilized in regions long considered volatile. Ancient anomalies have gone dormant. Hostile powers hesitate, their movements cautious, as if something unseen is watching. Not hunting. Watching. Starfleet Command doesn't know how to categorize it. There is no directive for a being who exists between universes, answering to no flag, bound by no treaty. Only whispers circulate through diplomatic channels. The Green Guardian, the quiet Titan, the one who chose. On the Enterprise, life resumes but not unchanged. Worf trains harder than ever, studying combat philosophies centered not on victory, but restraint. Troy begins teaching a new elective at Starfleet Academy, quietly titled Emotional Sovereignty. Data runs simulations that always end the same way. Unlimited power only leads to survival if paired with empathy. And Picard writes a log he never submits. He speaks of a man who lived in fear of himself, and a creature who lived in anger at the world, at how neither was strong enough alone. He writes of a moment when Starfleet did not solve a crisis with technology or tactics, but with trust. Far beyond Federation space, beyond Q's reach, beyond even the judge's gaze, the fused being moves through a dying universe. Yet suns have collapsed into cold husks. Empires rule through brutality alone. Monsters reign because no one ever stood up to them and survived. Until now, a warlord made of living shadow lunges toward him, feeding on hatred, growing larger with every scream it devours. The being does not roar. He does not rush. He steps forward, calmly, absorbs the attack, and dismantles the creature with surgical precision. No excess force, no rage-fueled destruction. When it's over, he stands amid the ruins, breathing steadily. The Hulk is there, power coiled, ready, satisfied but restrained. Banner is there, mind sharp, conscience awake, eyes scanning for the next threat. They are not fighting each other anymore, they are listening. The being looks out over the broken stars and speaks softly to no one and everyone. Rage is easy, he says. Control is harder, but choice is everything. Somewhere, a civilization takes its first step toward peace because a god did not demand obedience. Somewhere else, an ancient horror retreats, sensing something it cannot manipulate. And across countless universes, the lesson echoes: the strongest there is the one who stops. Back on the Enterprise, Picard finally allows himself a small, private smile. The final frontier is still dangerous, still vast, still unknown. But tonight, it feels just a little safer. Not because the Hulk is gone, but because he learned how to stay.